Hey guys, how's it going? And today we will talk about the MEDDIC sales process, what's it about, and why do we use it? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The MEDDIC process basically is a sales cycle, and this sales cycle is named MEDDIC very appropriately. Why is that? We work just like medics, just like doctors. We diagnose and we try to understand really what are the pain points of the client. This is the most important part of medic. I think you really need to understand and dive in the industry you're working with, be very much a specialist. And because it's not easy to consult, it's not easy to be a consultant, it's not easy to really understand what is the operational process, what are the pains, what are we trying to achieve here with the client. Because does anybody go to a doctor if they don't have a pain? Does anybody go to a doctor if they or the hospital or they need help if there is no pain? Probably not. Maybe you go for a checkup or something, but there ain't actually something viable, concrete for you to work with. So to us, this is the most important part of consulting: the ability to be a specialist, the ability to be a market expert. I have 20 years of dealing with companies. I started working when I was 13, but my business experience started when I was 18. So it's actually, not to be a liar, it's 18 years now. All right. So what happens is when you have this real life market experience, operational experience, departmental experience, when we're talking about how different industries are, not all companies, like companies are not all made equal. Not all companies are the same. Not all industries are the same. Not all countries are the same. And that's why we have been growing so much, because we have about 23 countries that we deal with. And it took some time to get there. It wasn't that easy. But because we have this market knowledge and we have the local placement and the international connection, we're able to do what we're doing. All right. So let's start with the MEDDIC framework. Just to go back on the first point, so becoming an expert in the market, and that's why I always say try to stick to what you know. A lot of people won't want to dive into new markets and new industries and ignore where they're good at, what they understand, which value they can bring, and which expertise and insight they can bring, and which opportunity they can bring. It's so easy to come in and put a new system and say, oh, let's follow this system. But the harder part is to actually see opportunity within the system of the companies that we're working with or you're working with. And that, my friend, takes a lot of experience and a lot of dedication that you need to have with your clients to understand their pain points, understand their operational process, understand where they're going, and guide them there. Show them the way, give them multiple options, and basically give your expert advice in each one. But before we get there, we need to identify basically who we're working with and who we're trying to reach. So, and that's why we have the MEDDIC sales process. So first thing we have is metrics. What measurable impact can we provide? And that's the first thing. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your clients' numbers. You need to know, I'm not talking overall revenue or how many employees work there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about operational numbers. You need to dive in a little bit deeper. And we do have the resources, or you should have the resources that help you out and basically help you make a case and understand where are the operational fallacies, I call them. Where are the bottlenecks? What is impeding a certain business from reaching a certain point, goal, or objective? All right. The second thing is economic buyer. Third thing is decision criteria. Fourth part is the decision process. And you can see the decision, it's 2 Ds. It's very important. Decision criteria and decision process. I mean, a lot of people pass these 2 points, but they're very important. I'm going to talk about them later. Identify pain, one of the most important, and champion, who will advocate for our solution internally. The champion is not really much of an advocate, but it is your contact point. It doesn't need to be a decision maker in the start, all right? But it's somebody that truly understands that you're working on his side for him to try and help the company enterprise reach a certain goal or get over a certain challenge. See, companies only have two modes. They're either consolidating or expanding. There ain't no other modes for business. You're either consolidating market, solving issues, making sure your clients are happy and safe, not losing any clients, decreasing churn, or you're expanding. Everything is all right in the local market, you want to open a new market. Everything is all right with your clients, you want to get more clients. You just expanded your industrial zone. You have more industrial capacity. You have more research and development. So who will advocate for our solution internally or your solution internally? This is key. This is very, very important. Do not overlook this point. All right. So we have metrics, economic buyer, decision, identify, and champion. So a question I get, do I need to go through all these points like in order? No, you don't need, but there is an order for the sales process, but you need to have these points. That's why we created internally for our people, for our outreach specialists, and for our strategic consultants, we created a point system so you can know how many points do you need for a contact, a client, an enterprise, a lead to be qualified, right? You need to have at least 7 out of 10. It means that if you're missing the decision criteria and you have everything else, that's good. It's okay, it's qualified. We can find out later. But if you're missing economic buyer, decision, you're missing 3 points, that's not good, that's not qualified, you don't have enough information, you need to go back and communicate, talk more, find out more, so you can fill these points. Now, usually we divide our team into 3s or 5s or 7s or 14. That's something internally we have. Depending on your team, you're probably going to need that because you cannot have a junior rep or a senior rep or a secondary rep doing everything. I really don't believe in that. I think this wearing multiple hats thing, I really don't believe in that. I believe that you wear multiple hats, my friend, once you are a master of certain areas. How can you wear multiple hats if you're not a master of your field? So that's something that a lot of people want to do. Oh, I wear multiple hats and I do this and that. And I really don't believe in that. I believe that if you have 2-3 good markets that you're good at, you have 2-3 good services that you provide, and I'm talking in the consultancy part, in sales, if you have 2-3 key markets that you follow, that you know, that you love, that you're close to, stick to that. Stick to that until you're a master of that. And then you can add on, This is going to take time. Took me definitely 20 years, all right, to reach 6. So my markets, the markets I love and I work with are 6 markets. That's 3 plus 3. Because I mastered 3 and then I went on for another 3. And it took me 20 years. So it ain't easy, for sure. It ain't fast like that, for sure. It's doable, absolutely, all right? Let's talk about prospecting in the research phase and something called the ICP. What is an ICP? An ICP is the ideal customer profile. Know your customers. You have to be client focused. I always say that. Direct the clients outwards. Don't drag them in. Don't drag them in. Don't drag them down. They're already heavy with their operational, executive, strategic, departmental decisions that you need to direct them outwards. It means that if they want to go there, that's where the direction needs to be. That's where the objective needs to be. Never, ever talk too much about yourself. Always be client focused. All right. And that's it for today, because I don't want to pass 10 minutes. All right. So ICP, define your ICP metrics, guys, very important. How to get metrics. Know the economic buyer, who has the budget authority, who decides what decision criteria and process. And if you're missing 1 or the 2, it's okay. You can find out later, but have the other ones, identify the pain points. And who is your champion? Who's your point of contact? That, my friends, can guarantee your success a little bit more. Stay tuned. We're going to have more videos on that. Thank you so much for joining and have a great day.